Hello to everybody, and
Thank you, Mario. Okay, Larry.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody.
Recording.
I think I got everybody. Well, good evening. I want to thank everybody for coming to our 2021 virtual Foundation Gala and joining us this evening in whatever state of dress or whatever state you are in the union today. So we appreciate the ability that people can come in from Florida and join us and not have to catch a plane ride home. So as with all things, I'd like to start with recognizing the dignitaries and guests that we have with us tonight. Our Zone 3031 Director Floyd Lancia is with us. Our Rotary Foundation Trustee-elect Larry Lunsford, and both Floyd and Larry will be speaking to us later in the evening. Also on, I believe we've got our Zone 3031 Director-elect Elizabeth Yusevich, our Rotary Foundation Coordinator Dan Ryan, our RI Annual Giving Officer Rebecca Silber. I was looking to see, I think we were supposed to have our Major Gifts Officer Kevin Kelly if he could make it. And then of course, I'd like to just in the group, since there's so many and we just don't have time tonight to go through the list, welcome and thank all our past district governors and other officers that are on the call. There are many here. Obviously, anytime we talk about foundation and giving, it encapsulates a lot of the history of the district and our officers. And we thank all of you for joining us this evening. So, you know, maybe tonight isn't the night we had hoped for. We're doing it one more time by virtual Zoom, but we can still make it fun and exciting. And this evening is important. That's why many of us are dressed up and trying to make this a gala. It is important that we celebrate the Rotary Foundation. It's important that we celebrate the impact that we have on our communities and the global communities around the world. And most importantly, it's important that we celebrate our Rotarians who have made a lifelong commitment to giving to the foundation and annually and even, you know, planning for their legacy in the future. So sit back, as Craig Maxey would say, grab your favorite relaxing beverage and enjoy the gala. So with that, Dennis, if you'll start with our first video. And next up, our district governor, Steve Heiser. You have to unmute, Steve.
You got me on mute. You know that's really the best place for me. It's usually on mute. I want to thank, as Larry did, I want to thank all of those who are in attendance tonight. We're so grateful that so many of you have taken time to be with us as we honor those who are donors to the Rotary Foundation from our district. There's a frame of reference for seeing the world as a series of finite games or infinite games, first espoused by Professor John Carson, then popularized by Simon Sinek. Finite games have known players, defined rules, and an agreed upon objective. And when the game is over, there's usually a winner and a loser, and everyone goes home to play another day. Baseball, basketball, football, soccer. Infinite games have known and unknown players, as players come and go, no defined rules except possibly government regulations, and the goal is to keep playing the game. The game is over for the players of an infinite game when they run out of the will or the resources to play. You either sell the business or you declare bankruptcy. Rotary is an infinite game. Our members have the will. Our foundation has the resources through our donations. Rotary's combination of will and resources has allowed our organization to be the most impactful volunteer service organization the world has ever known. Think of polio eradication and all that has been spurred by just that goal. Rotarians will never run out of the will to serve, but we must never run out of resources to supplement our will. So tonight, as we honor our district's Rotary Foundation heroes, and I hope that this event will spur them to contribute a little more and will excite those who are not yet foundation heroes to begin their journey towards herodom. In the infinite game, we will always need new foundation heroes, and we will need them for one simple reason: the world is depending upon it. And with that, I would like to introduce our RI director, Floyd Lancia. I'll give you a little short bio, and then he'll have a few remarks. Now, Floyd, as RI director, serves on the 17-member Rotary International Board of Directors, 2019, and his term is ending June 30th, 2021. Coming to us today from Bonita Springs, Florida, not Fort Wayne, Floyd began his professional life as a teacher and eventually rose to be a school superintendent. He spent the second part of his career on his real estate development and construction business, which he has since sold. And this sale allows him and Betty Lou to be in Florida and not in Fort Wayne in the winter. Floyd first joined Rotary in 1970 and has been a member of his current club since 1992. He has spearheaded Rotary Foundation grant projects that have provided free eye surgeries in Nicaragua and clean water for communities in Mexico, among many others. He has served as RI's president's representative and as a training leader at Rotary's International Assembly. Floyd is a recipient of the Rotary Foundation's Meritorious Service Award, the Distinguished Service Award, and the Rotary International Service Above Self Award. He and his wife, Betty Lou, are Archclump and Bequest and Legacy Society members and support Rotary's Peace Centers. They have 3 grown children and 6 grandchildren. And with that, let me introduce you to one of my Rotary heroes, RI Director Floyd Lancia. Thank you.
Woohoo! Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate that introduction. And it's so good to be with such long-standing friends and to recognize the majority of you on the call tonight. And you know, you have a warm spot in my heart every time I think about your district and the good things that you've done through all the years. And you've made me part of it as an honorary member, and I cherish that a great deal. Well, Steve, thank you for allowing me to be with you this evening and for being part of District 6690 celebration of our Rotary Foundation in this special way. I did want to mention that I have another commitment, so when I'm done, I'll have to leave early and I won't be able to hear or be part of the whole program. But I also want you to know that we have an invited guest, a special person who has been part of Rotary for a long time, someone who many of you know already, and that's past District Governor Catherine Yank. So she's with us, and she wanted the link, and I gave it over to her, and she's on the call. So you might want to mention her a little later on. At any rate, my fellow Rotarians and friends of Rotary, it's my great honor to address some of the most dedicated members of Rotary International. We all know that since Arch Klump established the endowment fund, and he dedicated it to doing good in the world, which took root in 1917. We've certainly come a long way since that time, haven't we? We all know that the first contribution was $26.50 just a little over a century ago. And our foundation has raised and invested more than $4.7 billion for programs that have prevented disease, improved health, provided education, community development, water and sanitation, just to name a few. And from the very beginning of over 100 years ago, the Rotary Foundation has saved many lives through the transformation of projects. There's little doubt that we'll ever be able to quantify our results exactly, but I know that millions would not be an exaggeration. And with continued support by participation with Rotarians such as you, we can help many more millions. And did you know that if communities had to pay for services that Rotary volunteers provide every year, it would cost nearly $850 million. And this figure doesn't even include the in-kind contributions and the money that Rotary clubs and the Rotary Foundation raises every year, which more than doubles that figure. And with generous support of our members and partners, we've taken on some of the toughest humanitarian challenges in the world, none more so than the devastating disease of polio. In 1985, Rotary, a nonprofit, had the audacity to say, we're going to eradicate polio from the face of the earth. And as we know, only one other human disease, smallpox, has been eradicated in history. So we started in 1985 with 125 countries that had polio. We are now down to just 2 with our hard work, Afghanistan and Pakistan. When we began, there were 350,000 cases of polio back in '85. Last year, we were down to just 141 of the type 1 virus. So far, Rotary has committed $2 billion in global polio eradication, and we don't intend to stop now. You see, for over 30 years, Rotarians have participated in immunization days. We have persuaded parents to allow their children to be immunized. We have pushed governments to make good on their promises. We have spread awareness. We have given of our time, our talent, and our determination. We will defeat polio, and it will be a landmark achievement for global public health. Rotary has also looked to embrace peace by addressing the underlying cause of conflict and violence through our Rotary Peace Centers. Today, more than 1,200 Peace Fellow alumni serve as leaders in governments and organizations around the world, helping to become catalysts for peace in their communities. This is a record that we should be proud of as we continue to open opportunities. And we intend to bring hope and transform lives of generations to come. But most importantly, I want to recognize you for your continued service. Because of your generosity, we are improving lives in your district and around the world. Rotary is what it is today because of the Rotarians who serve in their clubs day after day, week after week, year after year. And it is what it is because of the Rotarians who give generously every single year to our Rotary Foundation, putting service above self and doing good in the world. Our foundation is the engine that drives our passion for service. It is what levels the field among our Rotary clubs around the world, enabling us to bring help where and how it's needed most. So tonight, It's really a celebration of Arch Klump's insight over a century ago that he recognized what would be possible if Rotarians had a foundation to support their efforts. Your commitment helps to spread our belief that service to humankind truly changes our world. And for that reason, it is the greatest work of life. Late Vice President Lou Piccone wrote, "God has given me a place on earth to be here for a while. I hope that as I'm passing through, I'll make somebody smile. I want to make life easier for all those who I meet. I ask God for his blessings to the strangers on the street. I hope I'll never fail a child if I can help somehow. I want to be as generous as my resources allow. And when my life on earth is done, it will be my final plea. Let someone, somewhere, think or say, you made a difference in me." You're here tonight because you have taken the opportunity, seeing the need and taking action in our communities and in the world. And on behalf of those whom you've provided healthy food, fresh water, vaccines, medical care, educational opportunities, and much, much more, we gather to say thank you. And for those individuals who were on the video that we saw earlier, I thank you in behalf of Maria and Douglas. Thank you for allowing me to share some time with you this evening.
I want to thank our director, Floyd, for joining us tonight, taking the time to be with us, and for your comments. You've been a steadfast supporter of the foundation and a great friend of District 6690. And I always joke, I think it took maybe 2 or 3 district events before I realized you weren't from here. So thanks for being with us, Floyd. So obviously, we're here tonight to celebrate and promote giving to the Rotary Foundation. But in the end, it's not about the money we raise, but the immeasurable impact we have on our communities and our neighbors. The impact that we have on the work we do, and more importantly, the value we feel and the experiences we have as Rotarians. When you give to the annual fund, you support annual local district grants that change the face of our communities. We'd like to take a few minutes to celebrate the power of Rotary's partnership with local nonprofits and the power of utilizing district grants. Basically taking advantage of the money you help us raise every year that comes back as district designated funds. Here's a little story that's close to my heart. We produced a video for this past week's virtual Chili Open that was promoting one of our longtime partners in the Westville Area Resource Ministry known as WARM. And I thought that was a good example, and maybe a video many hadn't seen, of the power of not just one annual gift, but the long-term gift between Rotary and our local community partners.
Hi, I'm Scott Merrier. I'm the Executive Director of Westerville Area Resource Ministry. Our mission or cause is to help low-income individuals, families, and children here that reside in the Westerville City School District, which is 52 square miles in size. And as we press into the south edge of our school district, there's actually up to 120,000 people that have nutritional needs that we are prepared to serve and that we serve on a regular basis. That's more than 1/3 of the households served within the Westerville School District that suffer from what we would call food insecurity, which is the politically correct term for hunger. Studies have shown that hungry children don't learn as well, right? And so our children's nutrition programs really target at stabilizing a child's nutritional support so that they can more effectively function. Our child nutrition initiatives are basically fought on 2 fronts. One is when children are in school, those who receive free and reduced lunch during the week go without on the weekend. So we initiated a program through some partnerships that's called Share Back a Pack. And the Share Back a Pack program is simply meals that we put together, kid-friendly meals that we put together to go to low-income children so they can have food over the weekend while they're not in school. Last year, We distributed over 12,000 of those packs, which equated to about 64,000 meals. When school is out of session, the same children that are eligible for free and reduced lunch during the school year, we found that went without during the summer. And so we initiated a program called Westerville Area Kids Lunch Club. We started in 2011 with one site. This last year we did 14 sites. This year has been especially challenging because of the pandemic. Of course, we saw a huge spike in need. New families coming to Warm who had never been here before. Spiked by 219%. As we went throughout the year, our overall service totals for last year alone was up 49% from the previous year. When people ask how business is, I said, well, business is good for us, which means it's really bad for everyone else, because we see when the economy struggles, then the need goes up. Proceeds from the Chili Open, and we've been a recipient from Sunrise Rotary Club with the Chili Open for over 15 years. That money is earmarked towards our child nutrition initiatives, so it's specifically geared towards feeding hungry kids. And it has been absolutely a game changer for us in allowing us to expand our nutritional programs to children, targeted at children, and the volume that we can do in relation to the number of kids that we can help. We're often asked, what would happen if you didn't have sponsorship support from a group like the Sunrise Rotary Club? I tell you, it would put a hurt on it. We rely on partnerships and sponsorships and the generosity of our community, individual donors. We can't do this kind of work on our own. We're blessed to have a partner like Sunrise Rotary who's really interested in helping people and looks for partnerships on who can do that and deliver the goods effectively. Personally, on behalf of our board, our staff, all of our volunteers, and all the people that we serve, thanks again to everyone who's made it possible.
My friend Scott Marrier, who's the executive director of WARM and a fellow Sunrise Rotarian, is with us tonight, and I would like him to just be able to follow up with a few comments on of the power of personally of what the impact of local grants have been on WARM and the growth of WARM. So Scott.
Great. Well, thanks, Larry. Pleasure to join you all today, and I'm proudly wearing my Paul Harris Society +3 pin, which I just got from our club president, Tom, a while back, but I feel like a Cub Scout compared to the illustrious group that's on this call. So thanks for letting me talk for a few minutes. I cannot say enough about the value and significance of our partnership with the two Rotary clubs here in Westerville, the Noon Club. I'd be fined by the Noon Club if I didn't mention the Noon Club. So our partnership with the Noon Club and the Sunrise Club, and how we've been able to leverage district matching grants to positively impact our local community. Let me just give you a few examples. Our first matching grant came through the Noon Club over 15 years ago, and it helped to install a 24-hour food donation receptacle in our facility. Maybe you can, I'm going to hold this up close so you can see a picture of it. It's Billy Saltz, and the then president of the New Club, Steve Brown, was in there as well. And here's the impact that that's had. We've literally been able to collect donations around the clock from our community, and it's equated to hundreds of thousands of pounds of food, which equates to hundreds and thousands of meals that we've been able to support and give to our neighbors in needs. That's a single example. Other matching grants range from a storage building to help us store equipment and food, a 16-foot trailer that's helped us transport equipment to our children's nutritional sites, our summer lunch club sites. They've helped us purchase a commercial ice machine for cooling of goods and services that we share around town. Food storage and our warehouse equipment, furnishings for our volunteer community action center, and more. I could go on and on and on, but I won't. Another example of the partnership is the Rotary clubs have been sponsoring our holiday food drive for years. As a matter of fact, the idea initiated from a Rotaract club member on Otterbein University's campus. And just this past year, we collected over 40 tons in an afternoon, which equates to over 80,000 meals worth with the partnership and the sponsorship of Rotary. So district grants through our two local Westerville Rotary clubs have literally fueled warm to serve more people with life-changing ways and life-changing services that alone we could never have done. So our collaboration with Rotary is special, and it's one of our most valued partnerships that we have in the community. So Larry, thanks, and to everybody, thanks for the opportunity to just share a little bit of our story and the wonderful impact that Rotary is having right here in Westerville. Thanks. God bless you guys.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks for taking a few minutes to share your story and help us out this evening. So as we gather tonight, there's a couple big groups that we want to celebrate and recognize and to put some focus on. And the first one is the Paul Harris Society. So when you here on the district level, when we talk a lot about trying to develop a culture of giving, not just talking about a one-time gift, but really the cultivating within Rotarians that spirit to want to give annually and consistently to the Rotary Foundation. And so the Paul Harris Society is one of the foundations to that, one of the keystones to that. If you don't know, the Paul Harris Society is a commitment, it's a pledge from a Rotarian to give $1,000 or more annually to one of the, either annual fund or polio plus fund every year. And those gifts at that size that we can count on literally change how our approach is and what we can do for Rotary. And so we wanted to take a little bit to recognize those. I will say, so the invites that went out for everybody for the Paul Harris Society, we want to thank those who are signed up Paul Harris Society members. If you haven't hit your commitment yet this year, we hope you'll still do it. There's still time to get there. Many of us are on a monthly plan, so it doesn't happen until the end. If you haven't thought about it, we'd encourage you to consider becoming a member of the Paul Harris Society. It literally is a simple pledge. We understand that there are years that you might not want to make it or you can't make it, and that's all right too. But it's really a commitment to try to do your best to hit that goal. And it's pretty easy. If you want to try Rotary Direct, it's $85 a month. That's the kind of the model we sell for a lot of people. It makes it work. $85 on your credit card, you don't see it, and you hit that goal every year. So we want to thank all our Paul Harris Society members and those who contribute at that level, whether you've committed or not. So the video coming up is everybody who has hit the $1,000 a year commitment, either last year or this year. I want to thank Dennis for putting this video together. And I will warn you, it's kind of a travels or postcards from the road kind of theme. And some of the names you might be looking for might be on the postcards. So keep your eye on where it is, because Dennis was creative. And so the first time I watched, it took me a few minutes to realize I was missing some of them. So watch closely. They go in alphabetical by order. And once you missed them, they're gone. So there you go, Dennis, roll your video. Thank you, Dennis. Hopefully everybody caught their name in there, and quite a list. So thank you for everybody who's hit that goal in the last year. So the other side of the impact that we want to talk about when you give to the annual funds is the obviously the impact we do on our global communities. So our global grants that come back to us and what we can do. And obviously we have great impact in our local communities, but that money going around the world is transformative, and those communities and ability for them to live a life of peace and growth and maybe even clean water, what it can do just to allow for education or the different things we've done in the community. So what we wanted to do is highlight one of the many. We have a ton of great global grants in the district, but we wanted to highlight one of those partnerships that's had a huge impact on the community.
Here at Mayan Families, we believe education is the key to breaking the cycle of poverty in Guatemala. In the rural highlands surrounding Lake Atitlan, there's limited economic opportunity. Many people have not received a formal education and work in low-paying jobs, making it difficult to support their families. Since 2007, Mayan Families has been teaching students and young adults employable skills with classes including computers and sewing. In 2013, we partnered with the Rotary Club of Upper Arlington and received new equipment and increased funding. Today, we are proud to offer vocational training in 3 areas of study: computer science, sewing, and carpentry. The curriculum is designed to support trades that are profitable in the region.
Ahora aquí en Guatemala, en todos lados, al momento de adquirir un trabajo o de pedir un trabajo, lo primero que le preguntan, ¿usted sabe usar una computadora? ¿O usted llevó clases de computación?
Yo estoy estudiando perito en administración de empresas. En la administración uno puede conseguir trabajos en diferentes áreas, puede trabajar en el banco, puede trabajar en un hotel, porque la administración es amplia.
Rotary Trade School students living in extreme poverty have the desire to succeed. Many travel from rural communities to attend classes in their chosen trades.
Yo soy de un caserío Tierra Linda. En Tierra Linda sí hay trabajo, pero solo en agricultor. Bueno, yo subo y bajo en las montañas todos los días. Y voy a subir, tarda como media hora. Me gusta mucho trabajar con madera y hacer cosas así muy bonitas y así preciosas, ¿verdad?
Yo vengo hasta la escuela desde allá para acá, porque donde yo vivo no ofrecen las carreras que yo quiero, o solo ofrecen el nivel básico y el diversificado. Entonces tenemos que salir a otros lugares para seguir nuestra línea de estudio.
Bueno, con toda la ayuda que el Club Rotario nos ha dado, es de bastante beneficio, porque en base de eso han venido varias personas aquí a querer aprender, porque es una oportunidad para poder desarrollarse en el futuro.
Rotary Trade School students, equipped with employable skills, can help support themselves and their families. Many graduates will be able to start their own businesses and gain employment in their fields of study.
Fíjense, la costura me ha ayudado mucho. Yo elaboro 48 bolsas al mes y están exportando para los estados. Entonces, gracias a Dios, el ayuda y el apoyo del Club Rotario, ¿verdad? Para que sí, yo puedo apoyarlo, mi familia, especialmente con mi hijo de casa especial.
Mi trabajo de carpintería me sirve para 2 cosas, para ayudar a mi familia y ayudar a mí mismo también para superar más, ¿verdad?
Hundreds of women have attended our sewing classes where they learn to make various products using advanced techniques and state-of-the-art machinery. Students of all ages have new access to computer training, putting them in a better position to find employment in an increasingly technical job market. Our carpentry school students create exceptional work. Their handcrafted products are sold in international markets to support the school. The Mayan Families Rotary Trade School has changed the lives of thousands of Guatemalans, promoting economic independence and sustainability. Vocational training is essential to lifting individuals out of poverty, giving them new means to help themselves and their communities. Many career-minded students eager to learn have looked beyond their circumstances to a brighter future. The Mayan Families Rotary Trade School has and will continue to inspire new generations of Guatemalans.
Hi Rotarians, my name is Erin Mooney. I'm the Executive Director of Mayan Families in Panajachel, Guatemala. I'm so honored to join you guys from Guatemala right this moment. We partnered with Upper Arlington Rotary on a global grant in 2013 to install trade schools in Mayan families. The impact, you just saw the video. The impact is really, really incredible for the participants that we work with. Sewers go from very little income. Families subsist on an average of about $1.20 a day in our region. Sewers, carpenters can really increase that at least 10 times by graduating from Mayan Families technical schools. Last year with COVID, things got really complicated, but we were able, because of the schools, we were able to start a mask making project, and we shipped masks to Upper Arlington Rotary and other clubs and buyers around the world. And that meant income of, well, let's see, $2 a mask times 50 masks a day, $100 a day for some of the graduates, and it wasn't full-time work, it was very part-time, but as you can imagine, that's really life-changing for families, So we're grateful. Upper Arlington Rotary has been an incredible partner to Mayan Families over the year, and this global grant has a sustainable long-term impact in the communities where we work. Thanks to clubs like yours. Thanks so much. Take care.
Good evening, I'm Craig Maxey, past district governor and assistant Rotary Foundation coordinator. First of all, I'd like to give a special warm welcome to our good friend, past district governor Catherine Taylor Yank, if she is on, from O'Fallon, Illinois. We welcome you. In addition to, I'm sad that Floyd had to go because I never missed the opportunity to remind Floyd that he joined Rotary the year I was born. Which he really likes. My bride, Renata, and I are just very proud to support our Rotary Foundation. As district governor, I have seen firsthand what the Rotary Foundation can do, both here in our district and other places. In 2018, I traveled with several Rotarians to Mexico City. We went there to see projects that are that were currently going on, that we're getting ready to start, or that we were considering doing through the Rotary Foundation. We visited elementary schools that did not have clean drinking water or working bathrooms, if you can imagine. It was just really something that was really tough to see. Through our Rotary Foundation, we helped those youngsters out. We put in working bathrooms. We went to one site that it was near completion and several that were being worked on as we were there. We put in tanks in all of these elementary schools for clean drinking water. One of the most impactful sites that we went to was a mountainside town that was pretty much reduced to rubble by an earthquake. And through a grant of the Rotary Foundation, funded by our district 6690, we were able to build low-cost shelters in this area. These shelters were $6,000 a piece, concrete structure. And while we were there, these families invited us into these structures. This was their home. They were so proud of them. It didn't take much to tour them. Each of them, they were so small, pretty bare. Nothing that any of us would live in that are on this call. We live in such abundance. But to these folks, it was home. It really was home. They were just proud to have a roof over their head. And all of these projects that we saw would not be the case, and we would not be helping these folks out, if it weren't for the Rotary Foundation and you, the donors. Wherever we went, no matter how bad the conditions were, I noticed that all the children that we came across had a smile on their face. They had no idea how bad they really had it. And that was really heartwarming. That's the reason why Renata and I are so passionate about our support for the Rotary Foundation. A lot of my Rotary friends would tell you that they've heard me say that I wish I knew about Rotary when I was in high school. Unfortunately, I didn't find Rotary until 2009. But Larry Lunsford was lucky enough to experience the grip of Rotary at a relatively young age. In college, Larry was selected as an ambassadorial scholar from the Rotary Foundation to Australia. That started Larry on a long trajectory throughout Rotary that includes, obviously, club president, district governor, international director, member of the RI membership committee, as well as serving alongside his wife, Jill, as RI President Mark and Gay Maloney's aides for their term as president just last Rotary year. Most recently, Larry has been elected as a trustee of the Rotary Foundation for a 4-year term starting in July of this year. Larry is a certified public accountant and a CFO of Bernstein and Rhine Advertising. He and Jill have 2 grown children and live in the Kansas City area. District 6690, please give an unintentionally awkward, mostly muted welcome to trustee-elect Larry Lunsford.
Oh, good evening. Thank you, Craig. I know that each of us on this call have one common theme, and that is that you cannot say no to Craig Maxey. And so he's among the reasons that I'm with you this evening. I love the term hero-dom. I love it. I've enjoyed the videos very, very much. And there's so many friends on this call, but I will make mention, if I could, the district governor classmate that I had during our year of service as governor. That's Dick Brixner, his wife, Sally. Really enjoy seeing them particularly. And thank you for allowing me to mention them. I'm thrilled to be with them. It is such a pleasure. I'm reminded of the last time I was in Ohio. It was, of course, too long ago, but it was the weekend of September 3rd, 4th, 2016. As a huge sports fan, our colleague Brent Rosenthal was gracious to allow my son and I to attend our first Ohio State football game on a bright, sunny Saturday afternoon. After the Buckeyes win, my son and I traveled to Cleveland to watch an Indians baseball game. And then on Sunday, we traveled to Cincinnati to watch a Reds baseball game. So that's what I call a nice weekend. But I would also call this evening a very nice evening to join you as you celebrate how your district connects with our Rotary Foundation. And I'm pleased very rapidly to just share a handful of things that I think reflect the vision and the future of the Rotary Foundation. That's what Craig asked me to focus on tonight. It is such a strong foundation. And one good way that all Rotarians measure our foundation strength is reflected in the ratings from Charity Navigator. For the 13th consecutive year, the Rotary Foundation has received the highest rating, 4 stars, from Charity Navigator, an independent evaluator of charities in the United States. Our foundation earns this recognition for adhering to sector best practices and executing its mission in a financially efficient way, demonstrating both strong financial health and commitment to accountability and transparency. Only 1% of the organizations that Charity Navigator evaluates have received 13 consecutive 4-star evaluations. That should make our hearts sing. You know that since 2013, we've executed our programs and services through areas of focus. In 2013, we evolved to 6 areas of focus, and there was to be a review of those areas of focus after 6 years. So recently in 2019, this review was done, and while it was determined those 6 areas of focus are serving us well and should be continued, it was also determined that another area was gaining significant attention from Rotarians. Recently then, our newest 7th area of focus was established, the environment. I believe the Rotary world is genuinely excited with this news. The first global grants to be awarded in this new area of focus will be starting in July in this next Rotary year. This provides another great opportunity for District 6690. You've heard earlier this evening about some of your district grant efforts, and I wanted to share the trustees recently agreed that effective July 1st, 2022, districts may allocate district grant funds to Rotaract clubs and to their projects. This is just another way that Rotary is diligently working to develop Rotaract as partners of Rotary, not simply a program of Rotary. An exciting new opportunity. This evening does not allow me to develop fully our work in each of our areas of focus. However, for just a moment, I wanted to update you regarding a major development just announced in the last 2 weeks that will allow for continuing growth and expansion of our Rotary Peace Centers program. Already this year, we have expanded this program to the African continent with a 1-year certificate program at Makerere University in Uganda. But there is additional fabulous news to share with you. The Rotary Foundation has received an extraordinary gift to establish a new Rotary Peace Center in the Middle East or North Africa. Friends, this $15.5 million contribution from the Otto and Fran Walter Foundation, based in Maine, includes funds for the search process and startup costs and a $10 million endowment that will fully fund this new Rotary Peace Center in the Middle East or North Africa. Also included is a $5 million commitment that will ultimately provide general support for the Rotary Peace Centers. In recognition of this generosity, the new center will be called the Otto and Fran Walter Rotary Peace Center. A Rotary Peace Center in the Middle East or North Africa was identified as a high priority in the Rotary Peace Center's growth planning for the next decade. This amazing gift will enable us to move forward with this plan, and the projected launch date of this new center will be January 2026. This new center would then become our 3rd regional certificate program to go alongside our 5 global master's degree programs at some of the leading universities in the world. You may have recently heard about the Foundation's newest grant model. Beyond our district grants and global grants, which have been highlighted tonight, this new model is called Programs of Scale. Programs of Scale is a new grant model that empowers Rotary members to implement large-scale, high-impact projects with experienced partners that benefit large geographic areas. Through this new model, the Foundation will award one $2 million grant each year to a program sponsored by a Rotary Club or district working in strong collaboration with partners. It is a competitive grant process that requires a proposal and an application. The first application and selection cycle has just ended. There were 70 proposals, 62 of which were deemed complete. Reviews led to a group of 29, then a group of 6, and a final determination of the first Programs of Scale grant recipient. The first awardee, announced a couple of weeks ago as well, receives the $2 million grant to expand its successful work to eliminate malaria in Zambia. This program aims to reduce the incidence of malaria by 90% in 10 target regions in Zambia, where malaria is the leading cause of death, accounting for as much as 50% of all infant mortality and 20% of all maternal deaths. This program will reach 1.3 million people. The idea of this newest grant model is to support longer term and larger scale activities within our areas of focus. And we can only imagine that as more of these programs occur, there'll be tremendous impact throughout our world. It is true there are some changes to the World Fund funding model beginning July 1st, 2021, right around the corner. Your governor-elect, MJ, was the first to learn of these changes at the virtual International Assembly earlier this month. So District 6690 will want to stay close to these new developments and begin to internalize these changes to maximize your impact. And of course, Rotary's been working to eradicate polio for more than 35 years. I'm certain nearly all of you on this call have supported significantly our polio fundraising efforts through your Rotary years, and I thank you for that continuing support. And while some of the eradication efforts have been slightly curtailed during the pandemic, the Rotary Foundation has been proud to continue to support its members in serving local communities during the pandemic. You should know that since last March, when the world changed, the foundation has awarded $32 million in global and disaster response projects, grants for projects related to COVID-19, $32 million for COVID-19 grants. So we take a deep breath and we say, your Rotary Foundation, 13 years of the highest rankings from Charity Navigator, the environment, a new 7th area of focus, district grants soon to be available to Rotaract clubs, one of the largest gifts ever received to fully fund a new peace center in the Middle East or North Africa, with a new grant model which will take flight first in Zambia to fight malaria, programs of scale, continuing to carry the banner for the world in polio eradication, while also serving communities during a COVID-19 pandemic. My wife, Jill, and I support the Rotary Foundation every month through TRF Direct, with a direct withdrawal from our checking account to the checking account of the Rotary Foundation. Over the course of a year, those contributions allow me to join others in my district as a member of the Paul Harris Society. If you've not already done so, I encourage you to do the same. It is meaningful for me, just as for you, to know that my giving to the Rotary Foundation will positively affect someone's life, doing something for someone else, just because. Because you see, when it comes to feeling the effects of the Rotary Foundation, I understand the benefits of this timeless message of compassion and generosity of spirit. I understand the strong feelings that can be evoked when someone does something for someone else just because. Because as Craig mentioned, in the early 1980s, when I had a lot more hair, I was blessed to serve as a Rotary Foundation ambassadorial scholar. The Rotary Foundation changed my world. It is the reason we are together here this evening, even though I can't say no to Craig Maxey. So for me, it's simple. I give to the Rotary Foundation every month, every year, because of the opportunity the Rotary Foundation gave to me. And for each of you, as engaged and informed Rotarians who choose to give, the Rotary Foundation gives you the opportunity to change the world. I know it is simple for you as well. Certainly a lot ahead of us as we work together to improve the human condition. Congratulations to all the new Arch Clump Society members, all the new major donors, all the new Bequest Society members, and all the new Paul Harris Society members. And thanks to all of you who may not be yet in that category, but you're thinking about it really hard. I hope that on behalf of the trustees, I want to thank you to each of you who show how much you love the work of the Rotary Foundation by being so generous, uncommon generosity, I would say. And I hope this gives you a brief update of some of the elements of the vision and the future of the Rotary Foundation. As I join the board of trustees for a 4-year term in just a few months, I can assure you that my colleagues and I will steward your resources in the very best manner possible. We will look forward over the next 4 years to receiving our 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th consecutive 4-star evaluations from Charity Navigator, continuing to do good in the world. It is awesome to be with you this evening and to be invited to be among the spirit of uncommon generosity. Thank you.
Larry, that was fabulous. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us this evening. I don't know about you all, but if that's not enough reason to open your checkbook and make another contribution to the Rotary Foundation, I don't know what is. Your passion for the foundation is just comes straight through the video camera. So thanks so much for being with us this evening. Thank you for agreeing to serve as a trustee on our Rotary Foundation and helping to ensure that we can continue to make a difference around the world. Thanks, Larry. Before I share some thoughts, I want to make it clear to everyone who's watching that I'm intentionally going for the Dean Martin kind of after party look this evening. Contrary to what Craig Maxey might tell you, this has nothing to do with COVID pounds and the fact that my collar may be a little bit tight right now. It is a completely intentional after party look that I'm going for. Just want to be clear about that. In this segment of the program, I want to recognize our Rotary Foundation major donors, and we're also going to recognize our Bequest Society members from our district. But before I do that, I want to take just a minute to tell you all why I support the Rotary Foundation, in addition to all of the great things that have already been shared this evening, including how strong a charity our Rotary Foundation is, as Larry noted. But I tell you, it's one thing for me at the end of the day, it's changing lives. Guatemala, as you saw in the video, food banks, the warm work that Scott and his team do, bikes for kids in Logan, holiday baskets going out in Byesville, water pumps in Haiti and Malawi. The list goes on and on. I've had the opportunity to travel to Guatemala to see the work that our club in with the Rotary Foundation support has been able to do in partnership with Mind Families. I was at the Westerville noon installation for their program back in June at Warm, and Scott gave me a tour of the facilities there, and it's amazing what that program is doing to help the community. It doesn't take much to recognize what we do as Rotarians, and we're able to do that because we have this fabulous foundation, the Rotary Foundation. So when people around the world and in our communities are in need, our Rotary Foundation is there. And that's why I happily support the Rotary Foundation. Now, in a minute, we're going to share a video recognizing all of our existing major donors and Bequest Society members. But before we do that, I want to take a minute to recognize those who achieved a major donor milestone during this Rotary year or the immediately preceding one. First, I'd like to recognize Rotarians who achieved major donor milestone during the 2019-20 Rotary year, and they're on your screen. Thank you to Cheney McAllister. Thank you to Steve and Karen Heiser. I think some of you may know who that person is. Thank you to Linda Weber. Thank you for David Haas. Thank you to Mark Morgan. And thank you to Bob and Eleanor Horvat. I want to especially recognize Bob and Eleanor. They are major donor level 2, meaning they have contributed cumulatively at least $25,000 to our Rotary Foundation. Thank you so much for your support of the Rotary Foundation. Now I want to recognize those who have achieved major donor status during the current Rotary year. They are David Koenig, Dave Kittredge, Ed Schreider, Jim Irwin, Bill Kraft, and Glenn Epting. Again, this is the list of Rotarians who have reached major donor status so far this year. And you know, I think District Foundation Chair Larry would scold me if I didn't point out that there are still 4 months left in this Rotary year if you would like to achieve major donor status this year. So, so it's not too late. With that, Dennis, let's run the video.
Thank you again, Dennis, for putting together that video of all our district major donors and Bequest Society members. Before we move on, I want to take just a minute to talk a little bit about the Bequest Society. It's kind of the one thing that we don't talk about, and more importantly, the Rotary Foundation Endowment. I think a lot of times we're so busy talking about this year's fundraising and this year's giving that we tend to forget to talk about the fact that you have the opportunity to plan for the future and to talk about your legacy. So with the Bequest Society, you have the ability to make a gift from your estate, life insurance, will, something like that, a pledge to the Rotary Endowment that will leave a legacy and support the work of Rotary in the future. And so it always amazes me the number of people who've given every year for 40 years in Rotary, but have never thought about what they might want to leave behind when their service is done. So if you've not become a Bequest Society member, we encourage you to think about it. The Rotary Endowment currently, just to have an idea, has a little over $500 million in assets and another 838 million in pledged assets. So that brings the total value of our endowment to $1.33 billion. That's billion with a B. A pretty big endowment. And again, that is saved and used. The interest is what is used, the investment assets to fund the Rotary projects in the future. So it's a pretty easy form. It's a pledge. And if you haven't done it, we encourage you to consider becoming a member of the Paul Harris Society. Or the, sorry, I'm in the Bequest Society. Dennis, if you can clue the next one.
You're a Leewood. You know what that means?
We work hard and we give back.
You know, someday this apple tree will be bigger than I am. We're leaving the future behind today. You'll see.
Giving to Rotary's endowment ensures life-changing programs will benefit generations to come. Your legacy is Rotary's promise.
Good evening, everyone. It's so wonderful to see all of you. And I agree with District Governor Steve. You are all heroes. I'm very honored and privileged to spend this evening with you, and shout out to everyone that's put this together. It's been an amazing program so far. Great job, Larry. And thank you everyone for being here. Before I announce our newest Bequest Society members, I've been asked to share with all of you my why I became a Bequest Society member. I have to chuckle because the truth is somebody just asked me to be one. And that someone was our very own Floyd Lancia. And just like Craig Maxey, who can say no to Floyd, right? As many of you know, my vocation is in advertising and marketing. And when I first started working for my father, one of the pieces of advice that he gave me as I started my sales journey was, don't be afraid to ask for the sale. It seems simple, really, but the idea can be life-changing. Someone asked me to become a member of Rotary. I said yes, and it's changed my life. Someone asked that I give to the Rotary Foundation, and I did, and continue to do through Rotary Direct. Not only is it providing me with the knowledge that I'm doing something good for the world, but I know with certainty that my contribution is having a lasting impact on someone's life somewhere in the world. And I was asked by Floyd why I wouldn't want to continue to support Rotary after I leave this place called Earth. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I want to secure my vision for a world at peace? Why wouldn't I want to support something that I am passionate about even after I'm gone? Why wouldn't I want to plant that apple tree knowing that I could feed someone someday? I believe in my heart that the reason I'm here is to do everything I can to make our world a better place. I am here to share the gifts that I have been given with those who may need a leg up. And it's gratifying to know that Rotary and the Rotary Foundation through the Bequest Society will allow me to continue to make that difference in the world many years after I'm gone. All of you have the same passion that I do for Rotary and its good works. It's evident because you're here this evening celebrating and honoring for your contributions to the Rotary Foundation. And now, just like Floyd, I'm going to ask you, if you're on this call tonight and you're not yet a Bequest Society member, I ask you now to please consider giving this legacy. Why not plant the tree for generations to come? You've all seen wonderful projects shared with us this evening. We cannot do those projects without the Rotary Foundation, and we want to continue to do those projects for years and years to come. So Dennis, I'm ready to announce our newest Bequest Society members. So it's my honor and privilege to now share with you the names of District 6690's newest Bequest Society members. For the Rotary year of 2019 and 2020, from the Rotary Club of Columbus, District Governor Steve Heiser and his wife Karen, they're being recognized this evening as Bequest Society members level 4. And then also for Rotary year 2019-2020, a member of the Newark Heath Rotary Club, we recognize and honor James Johnson, Bequest Society level number 2. And finally, for the Rotary year of 2020 and 2021, we honor and recognize 2 members of the Reynoldsburg-Pickerington Club, past District Governor Craig Maxey and his lovely and enchanting wife, Renata. Thank you for becoming Bequest Society members level number 4. And just like it's been said earlier, it's just the end of February. We still have several months. There are how many people on the call, Larry? 74 remaining. I expect to have 70 more Bequest Society applications in the mail tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, MJ. And now we're going to recognize the Arch Clump Society members. You know, there are 4 Arch Clump Society members in our district. They happen to be 2 from each club. 2 from Upper Arlington Club and 2 from the Columbus Club. Are we going to roll anything on this, Larry? Or
Yeah,
not?
we didn't make a slide. Sorry, I thought you were
Okay.
just going to include it in your remarks.
Okay, so my comment is, you know, from Upper Arlington is Bert Charles and Dr. Richard Slager. And Dr. Slager was a vice president of Rotary at one time, you know, in his career. And from the Columbus Club was Brian Noten, who was who I knew well, and Ray Mason Jr., both very strong, and Ray is a past district governor. None of them, sadly, none of them are with us anymore. They've all passed on. My goal, either before the end of this year or before the end of Mary Jane's year, is I know we have more Arch Clump members in our district waiting to be asked, as MJ said, waiting to be asked and waiting to have the opportunity to move up to that stature within Rotary. And that is my mission, is to make that happen. And I know that we can actually equal those. We can double the number of Arch Clump members we have in our district. And so over the next year and 4 months, over the next 16 months, that is going to be one of the goals of our Rotary, of our district Rotary Foundation, is to increase the number of, you know, is to double the number of Bequest Society members we have, and double the number, you know, and double the number of Arch Clump Society members that we have. And along the way, we'll bring some new major donors into the fold. So I want to thank you all for being here. Larry, Dennis, really for putting this together. It's been absolutely wonderful. We haven't had an event like, well, never had a virtual event like this. And we really haven't had an event since, you know, since Craig had at his district conference, since Past District Governor Craig Maxey's district conference. And now we have a path into the future And I know that my successors, MJ Price and David, will continue an event like this or something even more spectacular into the future. So I want to thank everyone. Thank RI, the Rotary Foundation trustee-elect Larry. I want to thank our RI director, Floyd, for being here. And all of us, Rebecca Silver, our annual giving fund coordinator not coordinator, our annual giving fund person from the Rotary Foundation is on the call. Thank you, Rebecca. So thank you all and all the members of District 6690. You're the ones that make it happen. Thank you. And with that, I'll turn it over to Larry to conclude tonight's event.
I have one more to run there, Dennis.